Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. And Shivani has given us a very interesting topic, brand building in the age of influencers. Right? I think the last 5 years have been phenomenal for India's creator economy, right? So at present, we have over 2 million content creators, and of them, roughly 10% have been able to monetize their content. I mean, the number is 2 lakh. And they are able to influence USD 350 billion of consumer spending. That is amazing, right? And they have become so powerful that the ad spend from creator-led platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Insta is going to surpass this year the total ad revenue of traditional media, print, radio, and films combined, right? So this is a huge shift, according to me. And we have Dheeraj Sinha, the industry stalwart here to decode this shift. Welcome you here, Dheeraj. So Dheeraj, first, it's a very personal question. You have been in the industry for a very long time, and since last 1.5 or 2 years, from Publicis to IPG Group to Omnicom, right? So I think the last 1 year alone would have been given you enough content for your next book, right? So how would you describe this phase of your career in just one word?
Yeah, first of all, in a room full of young people, you call me veteran, so that's backhanded, but I'll take that. Yeah, I think we all live in times of change, right? I mean, the amount of quantum of change hitting all of us, whether it is tariffs from the US or AI or acquisition in my case, is mammoth. And in these times, I think the biggest compass is how do you separate noise from the real signal. I think that's my compass really, because there'll be noise always, right? And as leaders, or as creators, or marketers, or business people, where do you invest your mental energy, guiding what? Because it's very easy in today's times to get lost in noise. So noise versus signal is my biggest learning.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Dheeraj, influencers often command, more cultural attention than brands themselves. What does this shift mean for how brands are built and not just marketed?
So I think, when we look at influencers, right? I mean, when we started, say about 5 years back, you have a new startup, you want to get to the first 10 million customers or subscribers. All that you do is performance and influence, right? That was the beginning of influencer marketing. Cut to today, when we are using influencer, the biggest question people are asking is that, is the social influence actually leading to commerce? Right? So I got influencers, I got my likes, I got my views, but did the needle move on purchase? Did the needle move on behavior? So that's the journey we've traveled in 5 years. I think early stages, influencers were being used only as media to create visibility and velocity. I think time has come where we need to begin to look at influencers, and influencers themselves need to begin to look at themselves. Am I right now serving the objective of awareness, or am I helping conversion, or am I helping purchase? The very simple model that we use in business building, right? Because if you're only being used for velocity and media, right, then that play will get questioned, because at some stage people say, I spend so much of money, right? And I don't need visibility because I'm at a slightly more mature stage as a brand, and I'm not getting conversions. And therefore, the influencer marketing system has to walk that path a few steps ahead towards brand science, and adopt it and make sure that they're contributing to conversions and purchase. Otherwise, we are in trouble.
Very interesting point, I guess. So Dheeraj, in a word of, where people follow creators more than the logos of brands. So how should brands think about relevance and trust without losing their identity?
Yeah, I do feel that people are smart enough in their minds to separate influencers and celebrities from brands, right? I think when they're looking at influencers, they're looking at a certain sense of trust, empathy, and content. They're consuming content. Right? When you're looking at a celebrity, looking at the idea of celebrity, idea of sense of do I relate to a Shah Rukh Khan or a Messi and so on and so forth. When they're looking at brands, they're looking at purchase. Right? They're looking at buying, they're looking at money being spent, consumption having been done, and needs being met. So the three are different buckets. Right? It's not, I mean, a brand cannot be an influencer. That's not the job of a brand. A job of a brand is to get bought. Right? And an influencer's job, of course, is to be a brand in terms of a narrative, but they just need following. Right? So I feel that the commercial aspect, the buying aspect of branding, marketing, and business needs to be separated from the influence idea of influencers. Right? The two are not the same. The two can be symbiotic. Right? Influencers should work harder, I feel, to help sell. That's my peeve motive at this point in time, because just influence, just likes, just awareness is not good enough for many, many brands. And the brands cannot just afford to have ridden an influencer wave or just become popular, because you could be popular and you may not be bought.
Very important. I guess, I mean, you rightly said that brands can become influencer and influencers, of course, they can't become brands. There should be a symbiotic relationship, right? And you also mentioned that influencers should work harder, right? So would you like to give us some pointers?
So I think we are evolving on this journey, right? I mean, the biggest truth is, so I mean, brand marketing, we're called brand managers, right? We call brand managers, we're supposed to control the narrative of the brand. How is it said? What is being said? What medium? Like 100% control. Now from 100% control, marketers are willing to open their fingers a bit. So, okay, I will let my brand be adapted to the personality or the values of the influencer, right? But what is a good walk to have, right? I mean, do you completely abdicate your brand to the influencer, let them do what they want to do? Do you have some control? How much of creativity of the influencer does that stifle? Right? These are real questions when we are actually running an influencer program, right? And we have realized that if you let go of too much of control, you're not meeting the brand objectives at all. That money is just indulgent. You go too much into the realm of influencers and you're stifling their creativity. You're not using their influence, you're not using their trust and authenticity, right? So I feel both parties need to walk a bit towards the center. As marketers, we need to be a bit more easy on our controls. And I think as influencers, they need to begin to think that I'm fighting for my creativity and my authenticity and my audience. That's fine, you've been paid for that, but if your work is not going to move the needle, we need to help both of them walk that middle ground.
Yeah, correct. So Dheeraj, brands rely on consistency, right? And influencers rely on, authenticity. So how should brands collaborate with them, without losing, with balancing both?
Yeah.
Authenticity.
No, I think the best influencers also rely on consistency in terms of the messaging, topics, way they behave. If you look at the influencers who've broken out, right, and are really big in today's times, you will see a very consistent pattern on the topics they're picking up, the way they're talking, the way they're posting. So consistency is a huge game, both on the content and the positioning of influencers, and also the algorithm. I mean, the algorithm actually responds to consistency more than anything else. So I would say that influencers are consistent as well, brands are consistent as well. Choose your consistency. It's like they say, choose your heart, right? Choose your consistency. What are you consistent about as a brand? What's your pattern? And what's the pattern of the influencers you're working with? Don't just buy for visibility and audience.
Yeah. So, we all know that ad spend on, influencer marketing is going up. So, there are people, who think whether brands are confusing influence with brand building. What do you think?
I think brand building is a larger science. It's an ecosystem, right? Writing a certain medium or getting somebody to endorse you is one pillar, right? But beyond that, what's the insight you're serving? What's the need gap you are fulfilling? Is your personality consistent? What's your proposition? What are your values? All of that cannot be replaced by just an influencer tie-up. I mean, there are enough examples of very, and I don't want to name people, but very known celebrities who've launched their products and they bombed. So if influence was the only factor for success of a brand, they would have succeeded, right? It's a pillar, it's a big pillar. Visibility is a big pillar in today's time, but there are 5 other pillars to successful brand marketing and business, which brands need to keep in mind, and if influencers want to play this game seriously, should also adopt.
Right. So how should brands ensure that creator-led campaigns, they get long-term impact?
I think it goes back to saying, I mean, we do a lot of work, for example, for brands such as Uber, Google, etc. We do a lot of influencer-led work, even Access Max Life and so on and so forth. We make sure that the narrative of the brand is consistent, right? We do not compromise on the narrative of the brand. We do not compromise on the values, personalities. So we work really hard to make sure that we're tying up with influencers who are consistent with our value system, with our personality in a big way. Because so we are not chasing one-off virality. In fact, we have a platform which maps whether the influencer is there just because 1 or 2 peaks of virality, or is there consistency of audience following and content and all of that. So there are tools now which are helping you map that, and we take that into consideration before we're doing the tie-ups, right? So I think brands need to watch out for consistency. They need to watch out of sameness of personality and value system, not just chase quick visibility, virality.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So Dheeraj, when a creator becomes closely associated with a brand, what role they play in kind of, brand meaning, and what risks come with it, that the same dependency?
Yeah, so I think, I think the way influencer marketing is being used, you use many people over a period of time. So I don't think there is a dramatic tie-up of a brand with influencers, like say in case of a personality. I mean, you might have a celebrity who's endorsing a brand for 5 years, 7 years, and then becomes hard when the celebrity is sunsetting. How do you, kind of dissociate the brand from the celebrity? That problem is not there in influencer marketing yet, right? Having said that, I'd go back to the same point. I think the choice making has to be about matchmaking. It's more matchmaking than just riding visibility.
Yeah, it's matchmaking, of course, and some kind of. So with regional and small town creators shaping the culture at a scale, how should national brands think about the hyper local India?
I think that's one area where influence marketing is hugely useful, right? Because I mean, a lot of our consumption traffic is now moved to small town, and micro influencers who have very, very strong, say in tier 2, tier 3, they're very, very useful. The way we run it is that we will choose national themes which go down the strata, and then we go as deep as possible. Sometimes we may have a regional problem to solve, that I want to win market share in say, southern India, and therefore we choose influencer of that market, messaging of that market. So in fact, earlier times, right, when you were just bound to television, right, you could not do a surgical strike in a particular market. Today you can choose a market, right, decide your messaging, and go on an offensive in that market with a large influencer community. So in that sense, it's a very sharp knife in the arsenal of brand marketing today.
You mentioned surgical strike, very interesting word, I guess. So beyond followers and engagement metrics, what should brands look for, while selecting creators?
Yeah. So we spoke about this, right? It's about the consistency of the pattern that the brand stands for, and the consistency of the pattern that the influencer talks about, right? I think to my mind, content is important, right? The quality of influence is more important than the quantity of influence. So you can't just go by number of followers and visibility. It's the quality of influence which matters, which interestingly same as how you used to buy TV. Right? I mean, when you bought television spots, you did not just buy reach, you also bought the nature of content you are placing your advertising on. So in that sense, the principle is similar. But I think in the initial phase, we went more with, okay, number of likes, reach, and let's go for it. I think the science is maturing as we go along, and with more experience, we're realizing that when there's a fit, the impact is greater than when you're just buying visibility.
Now coming to my last question, as creators become central to brand narratives, how is the role of creative agencies changing?
I think as creative agencies, we look at ourselves more as orchestrators, for the brand narrative and to bring to play whatever is required for the brand to succeed, right? We work with AI creators, we work with influencers, we work with event folks, we work with media platforms to bring all of that together to the service of the narrative of the brand, to the service of the objective of the brand. So we're not sitting here saying that we are the only people who create. The whole world creates today, right? But we are the only people who navigates the narrative of the brand. We are the only people whose job is to make sure that the outcomes for the brands are met, right? That's our central job. So we are working, in fact, we have an influencer desk internally. We work with influencers extensively. We map them. We have influencer AORs with clients, long-term influencer AORs where we're doing strategy on influence, themes, buckets. It's all very well being embraced and scientifically managed. So we are loving the ecosystem play.
Yeah, wonderful insights, Aziz. Thank you so much, Dheeraj. Any questions from the audience? Anyone? No? Thank you so much, Dheeraj, for your time. Yeah.